Hello everyone, welcome to episode 34 of the Cherry Heart podcast. I'm Sandra and I'm coming to you from my little crafty house at the end of the garden in Bedfordshire in England, where we are currently enjoying a wet and miserable grey day. It's also quite clammy and warm though, so not a great combination. But anyway, this is a podcast about all things yarny. Crochet, knitting, some sewing and some other crafty bits and bobs that I like to dabble in. You can find the show notes for this podcast on the blog at cherryheart.co.uk, and you can find me on Instagram as Sandra Cherry HRT, and for any other social media links or Ravelry links, they're all on the blog. So just pop over there if you would like to find me. Yeah, so that's what you need to know. So let's begin. First up, I'm going to start with a bit of podmin, a bit of podcast administration. I've been contacted by a couple of lovely fellow podcasters. So I just wanted to tell you about a couple of things that's going on with them. So first up is the lovely Amy from Love Made My Home. I think she's had a little podcasting break sort of earlier this year, but I think she's coming back now, which is good because I've missed her podcast. So to celebrate her being back, she's offering a 50% discount in her shop on her crochet designs. So if you quote the code summer17, you'll be able to get a 50% discount, which is amazingly generous. So that's Love Made My Home, and her designs are under Amy Truman Designs on Ravelry. But I'll put the link in the show notes, so if you want to sort of just click that, you can pop on over to the show notes and that will be there. So that's Amy. And then I was also contacted by Naomi of Cozy Cute Knits. She's running well, actually it's not a crochet along, I think it's a make along, because I think you can knit, crochet, I think possibly even sort of spin or weave or other crafts as well. So she's hosting a make along with another podcaster who's new to me actually, so it's one for me to try out. It's Jen Shalene. So they've both got groups on Ravelry, so they're hosting a joint make along, and it's about making something. I think they're called it. What's the hashtag? Let me just see. Can't see it now. It's a warm and fuzzies. That's it. So they're having a warm and fuzzies cowl. So it's about making something, I think, that makes you happy, basically. Something that gives you the warm and fuzzies, I guess. So I'll have the links to their groups in the show notes as well. So if you want to go and check that out, see what the rules are, and see if you'd like to join in with that. It's quite nice to have something going on over the summer, isn't it? Because things quieten down a bit. So that would be good. And I think that's it for my podmin for this week. Yes, it is. So let's talk about what I've been up to. We'll start with socks, shall we? We'll have another sock start. So I have made, these were on the go last time, so I showed you the start of these. But these are my Hufflepuff Socks. So this idea I basically stole. Danny from Little Bobbins, the podcast, she was making a pair of socks like these. I think she had some yellow and grey self-striping yarn, I believe, and she added the little pink toes and heels to her socks, and I saw them on Instagram, and I rather liked the idea, so I did the same. I'd like to say I was inspired by, but it's obviously a blatant copy, so yeah, I really like them though. Mine are all, I didn't have any self-striping, so I had to, I've used all separate yarn. So this one I had left over, I used a bit of this on my my alternative version of my peachy geometric shawl, so my sort of faded geometric shawl. And then this grey one, so that's a Yantan Tetherer one. It's her Pedro base. I can't remember what the colour was. off the top of my head. No, I'm not sure. I'll put it in show notes, or I'll link to my Ravelry page rather in show notes. And then the grey is some uncommon thread, tough sock. And then this is just some Signet 4-ply wool and nylon blend. I think that was just called soft pink. But yeah, I like how they've turned out. So I did my usual 72 stitches on the cuff, reduced down to 64, and I did 8 rows of each colour. And I did the jogless jog for, let's just show you where my colour changes are. Can you just see there? There's a little, you can just about tell where they are. Yeah, so that's the jogless jog technique for doing stripes in the round to sort of make the sort of little step a little less noticeable. I think I did it really, was it? No, this one's better. Yeah, this one, see, it's really quite good down there. I think I'd relaxed a bit by then, whereas this one, you can see it a bit more clearly. Oh, never mind. Yeah, and then I just did a heel flap and gusset for the heel. I'd normally do fish lips kiss, and I kind of wish I had actually, because I think it just looks nicer in stripy socks. But I did this partly because I wanted to carry the slip stitching under the heel. So I spoke about this last time, but just to briefly recap. So I've got a slip stitch heel here where it's alternate stitches that are being slipped. So it's a bit like the Eye of Partridge heel. But what I've done, let's take this off so I can show you. I've carried it on, so that's it on the back of the heel, and then I've carried it on under the foot. So I was saying last time, if my socks have ever gone, and I've only really lost one pair this way, but where they get thin is sort of under the bottom of the heel. So the last pair of socks I did a bit of slip stitch on the heel flap, but this time I've carried it down a bit further, just to sort of make it go under my heel a bit more. Just because I figured if that's the weakest point, I might as well make that bit stronger rather than, see, I don't really have too much trouble with this bit getting thin. But since that's what you do to make that bit stronger, I thought, why not make that bit stronger? Again, I think Danny from Little Bobbins was saying she'd done the same, so I did it too. So then, because the slip stitches will pull the socks in a bit, I just did a couple of extra rounds on the first 2 decreases of the gusset. I just put an extra plain round in. So I did a decrease round and then 2 knit rounds, decrease, 2 knit, and then just as normal. So that was that, and then I just did my little rounded toe at the end, which I like because it gives a nice shape and it's easy, and you don't even have to bother to Kitchener or anything. So it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. So that is my socks, and I haven't actually got any socks on my needles at the moment, would you believe? I know. I've picked some out to do though. I've been promising my daughter I would make her a pair, so she's chosen her yarn, so I'll probably start those over summer. So that's the socks. And next we've got some crochet. Again, I showed you this a little while ago that I started. So I had some Debbie Bliss Andes, which I think is discontinued now. But I had these 4 colours, the grey, the pink, duck egg blue and the yellow that I'd got. I think I got it in a sale actually. So I started making these stars. Now these stars I've taken from a previous pattern of mine, which is for a little boho, what did I call it? Just boho stars I called it, but it's like a little sort of little capelet thing, which is really cute, but I don't actually wear very much. I do love it though. Anyway, that's by the by. But yeah, I just took the star designs from that and I've made sort of a little scarf with that. Now I didn't have enough to finish, so the lovely Jane Someone who watched a podcast contacted me and very kindly sent me some more so I could actually get this finished. So I kind of overestimated how much I had. And although even now this is quite a short scarf really, I'm not going to get many wraps, it's more of a just tuck it round and that's your lot. Yeah, it's amazing how much yarn it's eaten up. So thank you so much, Jane, for that. We did a little swap, so yeah. And yeah, I've added some tassels on the end because I thought I would. I'm not entirely convinced by my edging. I quite like how it looks on the side because it kind of pulls. I wanted something that would, so the, form a coherent sentences. When I didn't have an edging on, the stars kind of all curled round and you couldn't really make out they were stars. You could kind of see the middle one, but the others you couldn't really tell. So I put this edging on so that you could see there were stars and it had some kind of, I suppose, kept some kind of structure to it. So I quite like it on the edge, but I just think at the end it just looks a bit too formal, I think. It sort of looks like, you know, like a pendant hanging down in a school hall or something with that sort of very angular end. I'm not sure about it. The tassels I might take them off and undo those last 2 rows and have another go and do something that's a little less structured somehow. I don't know. It just turned from something I was quite liking into something I'm not sure about, so I think I've gone wrong somewhere. So I might have to go back a step. Maybe I could... I don't know. I don't really know what it needs, but it needs something, I think. But I do like the idea of some tassels, so I want to keep those in somehow. Any ideas? Let me know. So that one I finished, and I also finished, I'm all about the finishing this week. I also finished this little shawl, summery shawl that I was making. I can't even remember if I showed you this actually. I've been putting it on Instagram, so you may have seen it there. And if I had any kind of memory, I'd know if you'd seen it here, but I can't remember. I've been to sleep since then. Yes, so this is made out of the lovely Stylecraft Cotton Classique in their new 4-ply. So they've had it out in double knit for a while, but they've just, well, I say they've just, it was earlier this year actually, they launched the 4-ply version, and I love it. I just kind of love it. It's really nice to work with. It holds together nicely without being remotely splitty, but it's not too mercerised, so it's not all shiny. It's still got quite a nice natural feel to it. It's got good drape to it. That's what I made my rickrack top out of. Yeah, I'm just kind of loving it at the moment. It's kind of working for me, and yeah, I'm just enjoying it. I like the colours. There's not like a whole host of colours, but the colours they've got are just really lovely, work together really nicely. Yeah, I just like it. So yeah, I had a white top, I was saying, wasn't I? Yeah, I've got a little top, and I thought I just wanted something really light to put round to wear with it, because it's pretty warm now. Don't need too much. But something's more decorative than really warmth, although, you know, it's better than nothing if it's getting a little chilly. But yeah, sort of wearing it quite loose if I've worn it, just because you don't want anything too up by my neck at the moment. There we go. And of course, I'm really liking that I put some dangly little bits and bobs on it, which makes me happy, happy, happy. Which is what it's all about, really, isn't it? Making yourself feel nice and happy. Yeah. So it's the sort of the crescent shape, the nice long and thin little shawl, so it sort of doesn't dangle down too low and cover me up too much, but it just looks pretty around the neck. And yeah, that's it really. So it's quite a nice little make actually. And then I just did all these hundreds of little hearts. Well, not actually hundreds, but quite a few. I could have just gone with one every now and then, but I thought, why not? Let's go for it. It reminds me of those little love heart sweets actually. I don't think there was a blue one, but otherwise they're quite sort of little candy colours, so that's what it reminds me of. Yeah, I like it. It's just fun really. And merging seamlessly from what I've done to patterns in progress, pips, I am writing up the pattern for this. I'm kind of nearly there. I probably would have got it done this week, but the schools have had 2 days off. Last week of term, and there was some sort of problem, and they've had 2 days off, which is not really what I needed, to be honest. Kind of was hoping to get things finished up, ready for the holidays this week. So yeah, I'm not sure if I will get this out. I don't know. I was hoping to get this out maybe this week or next week, but like I say, that's kind of set me back a bit, and then we'll be into the holidays, and I don't know, all scheduling seems to go completely out the window when it's the holidays. You know, we've got quite a bit planned this year, so we'll be out and about quite a bit, and then of course we're going away, and by the time we've done that it's getting towards the end, and then you've got to make sure they've got their stuff to go back, and before you know it, it's September, and all this time has gone. So we'll see. I make no promises, but yeah, hopefully if I could get that out before, sooner rather than later, because you know it'll be getting colder, and then it's not quite so appropriate really. Unless you live in Australia or New Zealand or in the southern hemisphere, and then you'll be like, well, we're just coming into summer, so it's perfect. What are you talking about? So I guess it all works really. So that's it. I haven't got anything to show you that I'm making at the moment really, because I haven't really got much on the go. I've only got one thing, and that's commission, so I have to be all hush hush about that. Yeah, so nothing to report there. But I thought what I would do is show you some stuff. Now, I haven't been buying, but I do have some stuff to show you, which is quite exciting. So last weekend I went on a rather fun little trip. As you may or may not know, I'm one of the Stylecraft blog stars. So there's a group of a few bloggers that get together, and we get to go up to Stylecraft. And they just tell us a little bit about what they've been doing, and we sort of get to have a nice little chat with some fellow yarny inspired people that are as potty about yarn as I am really, so it's quite nice. But I went up with my fellow blog star, Sarah from Annaboo's House, who you probably know, I would think, because she's got crochet books out, she's got a lovely blog, Annaboo's House, and she's also been doing some podcasts. She does a lot of video tutorials as well. She's ever so good. Very impressive. Anyway, she's a lovely, lovely lady, and on the way up she was telling me she started yarn dyeing, you see, so she was telling me sort of a little bit about that, and she ever so kindly gave me one of her yarns to try. Isn't that just beautiful? Oh, I love it. That pink is just so gorgeous. It's pretty much one of my favourite colours at the moment as well. I love it. But it's also got, there's a little flash of lilac in there. Just some really subtle little touches. Really lovely. So this one, I think she's got a selection of bases. This one is her luxury sock base. It's a really nice combination actually. I haven't seen one like this before. So it's 60% superwash merino, but it's 20% superfine alpaca in there, as well as 20% nylon. So you've got a nice lot of nylon in there to make socks. But I don't know if you can see that it's kind of, the alpaca gives it just that little bit of a halo. And it's just lovely and soft. So it's one of those sock yarns that's almost, well, you could definitely make either socks or something like a shawl or something to wear. But it's one of those ones that's almost too good to wear for socks. To use for socks even. I don't know. I really love her labels as well. I love the colours on the house. Yeah, so she's got an Etsy shop as well. She sells her, she's a crochet designer. She sells her patterns in Etsy, but she's also started doing her yarn dyeing in there as well. And then what she does is she uses natural dyes for her yarns, which I quite like, because I'm not very good at sort of the natural wool, because most wool I find too itchy for me. But what I can get on board with is the natural dyes. So although I can't be too sort of fussy about, you know, I can't sort of take advantage of all those lovely sort of pure breed sheepy wools or anything, but I can get on board with a sort of natural dyeing. So for this one, oh, it's got a difficult word that I can't say. So she's got lac, logwood and chlorophyllin. A bit like chlorophyll, you know, with the plants. I think it's a bit like that sort of thing. So it gives you some very subtle, I believe, some very subtle greeny tones, I think she was saying. Anyway, beautiful. So that's what she's using. She's using lovely natural dyes, so she's getting some really lovely shades with those. And yeah, and she's got some really lovely bases as well. So I shall have to be doing a little stalk of her shop, I think, her Etsy shop, and see if I can snag some more at some point. But yeah, in the meantime, I shall ponder what to make with this. It's got to be something really nice, hasn't it, I think? I want to make another shawl. Can I make yet another shawl? Is that allowed? How many can I possibly need, right? Anyway, so that will be fun. I'm looking forward to using that. But I thought, because we went up to Stylecraft, I thought I would show you some of the Stylecraft yarn that we spoke about. So they're quite good, and they give us a little heads up on some things they've got coming out. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to let you know some little goodies that are going to be coming. There's some sort of new things coming out that I'll be able to share with you soon. But at the moment I'm just going to share with you some things that are already out, but they have only just come out, so you might not have seen them yet, so I thought it might be quite interesting to talk about them. So first up is some new Head Over Heels colours. So this is, if you're not aware of it, is a sort of sock. Again, it's a nice in-between. It's a sock yarn, so it's 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. You've got 400 meters to your 100 grams there, so lovely sturdy sock wool. But it's also, they've managed, I don't know quite how they've done it, because this isn't merino, it's just wool, but they've managed to make it soft enough that you can use it for shawls. See, now normally with wool I wouldn't be able to do this. It'd make me, but actually it is pretty soft. I can just feel the tiniest little sort of scratchiness to it, just the tiniest amount, but actually I could wear that. So that's, yeah, so they've got a really nice kind of middle of the road one there that you could use for shawls and all sorts too. They had kind of lots of different samples knitted up when we went, of sort of baby cardigans, and I can't remember what they had now. They had a nice crocheted shawl, socks obviously, but yeah, it was really nice to see. So this one is Ben Nevis. This looks really nice knit up. I really liked it anyway. Oh look, they've got a little sample on the side there to show you how the striping will come out. So there's that one. There's this one, which is Snowdon. There's a mountain theme going. They've all got names of mountains. That's nice too. Let's just show you the striping for that one. They had a shawl in this, a crocheted shawl in this, which came up really nicely. And then we have this one. Oh, I've never heard of this one. Ingleborough. I haven't heard of that one. Which is much more blues and greens and purples. There's the stripe for that one. Yeah. So I'm knitting some socks for my daughter, and she's chosen a head over the heels yarn actually. Not one of those new colourways, she's gone for one that's got some sort of pinks and greens and blues in it. Which, yeah, but it's nice to use. I've made some socks for myself, and I've made some socks, and I made a shawl for myself as well, my Going to Wales scarf. Yeah, so it's lovely to use. So I was quite pleased to see there's some more colours of that, and I'm also really pleased about this one too. It's some more new colours of the batik. So there's 4 new colours come out. Now I made my barley scarf in this, and it's one of those ones where I've seen these sort of, you can see it's got that sort of faded out kind of what do you call it, stone washed kind of effect to it. So it's like the batik dyeing, where you kind of have some areas where the dye takes and some areas of resist. So it's that kind of effect. And I've seen it, this sort of thing, and I thought, oh, it's nice, but it doesn't particularly, you know, I've never been moved to actually try it. But they gave us some of this last year, I think it was, when it first came out, and I really loved it. It's really lovely to work with, because it's great for crochet as well. I haven't tried knitting with it. I'm sure it's great for knitting as well, but I've only used it for crochet. But it's lovely because the stitches kind of fill out really nicely. It's just really satisfying because it flows on the hook lovely, you know. But just when you've sort of finished, like I did something with puff stitch, and they just fill out nicely and make these really nice, plump, lovely puffs. Yeah, I don't know, it's hard to explain, you'll have to try it, but I really like it. It just gives a really, really lovely finished item, I think. So anyway, this is, what is it? I think it's got some wool in it as well. Yeah, so it's 80% premium acrylic and 20% wool. So it's just got that touch of wool, so it's just that touch warmer. But again, it's not remotely soft as soft, it's lovely. So this is mint, so that's a paler green than the one they've got out at the moment. They've got this sort of blue, sort of like a pale indigo. It's showing a bit purple on the screen. I hope it doesn't when I, actually get it uploaded. So that's looping. We've got this one, which is a rose. This goes really nicely with the other colours. It's kind of like a paler shade of some of the other colours on there. Beautiful. And this as well, silver, which again is really complementary to the other colours. They've got like a dark grey, a graphite, which is nice too, but this silver is going to go beautifully with that. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm going to make myself up some colour cards in a bit after this and have a little play, because I really like those. Quite inspired by those. And then last of all is one, I think this one's brand new actually. I haven't seen it before, but then it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's called Tweedy. It's a double knit one, and it's kind of got, you've got some colour changes in there, but also it's got that kind of oh, I can't think of the word. Well, I guess tweedy, but what is it when you kind of have 2 colours together? There's 3 colours on most of these actually. Look at that strand, it's got, don't know if you can see, it's got red and brown and the white. Yeah. So it's a 74% premium acrylic, 26% cotton. Oh, that's quite a nice blend. And this one's heather. So they showed us some of the designs they've got in these. They've got some really nice, it'd be great sort of really autumnal cardigans and things that were quite nice. So these are really sort of nice autumnal colours, I think. Lovely. So there's that one. This one, which is a brighter one, this is Thistle. There's sort of some brighter, more jewel tones in that one. We've got a more bluey green one. This one's called Moss. I think it's got quite a lot of that kind of mossy green in there. It's really nice, kind of citrusy, acidy colour, which is quite nice. And then this one is my favourite. This one's called Bracken. It's kind of browny, but got some nice golden shades, some really nice duck egg blue, kind of heathery. A bit close, it's not focusing. Yeah, I think that one's my favourite. Not quite sure what I'd use a single ball for. How many metres do we get? Can't quite see. 260, I think. These aren't the proper labels, they've just sort of mocked them up because it's new, so I'm not quite... Oh, hang on, this one says it properly. Here we go. Yeah, it's 260. So, yeah, that's the proper label. Yeah, it's different now, I quite like that. Like I say, it looked really nice on sort of autumnal things. So, I think I might have to get another ball or two or something if I wanted to do something in that to make something a bit bigger. I suppose you could make a scarf, but I'm not feeling a scarf in that. I think when you've seen something as well, because they had sort of garments in it, I think that's kind of sort of filtered into my mind then. Thinking maybe a bag might be nice. I don't know. Right, I am going to stop waffling now because we don't want this to get too long. So I won't be back for a while now. I'm going to take a little break because, as I said, it's summer holidays and we've got lots going on, and I just don't think I'll be able to snatch the time for it, to be honest. I'm not sure how much time I'll have for making things. I'll find a way though. I'm sure I'll find a way to do that. But yes, so I might not be back until September, I'm afraid. But yes, I'm excited for that though, because I've got some good things coming in September. I'm excited. Yeah, something good is coming that I can share with you, and hopefully you will enjoy it. I'm hoping you'll be pleased about it. I'm looking forward to telling you a bit more about that. Keep your eye on Instagram actually, because I might be able to filter out some sneaky peeky pictures on there for you to give you some clues about what's coming up. So yeah, that's something to look forward to for when I come back. And yeah, I'll probably do, perhaps I'll get another couple of blog posts out. I wanted to sort of, I'll perhaps say a little bit more about my trip to Stylecraft, because we did a couple of things that were quite interesting, so I'll probably pop that on the blog, so have a look there if you're interested in finding out more about that. And yeah, if I do get a chance to sort of do anything in the summer, it'll probably be more on the blog rather than here. So yeah, keep an eye out there really. But I hope you have a lovely summer. I hope you have lovely holidays if you're getting away this year. And I hope you have, well, I don't know what happens in the Southern Hemisphere now, because I guess, are you over the worst of winter now? Don't know. I hope it starts to get a bit nicer if you are in the Southern Hemisphere. But either way, wherever you are, I hope you get to have lots of lovely, happy, crafty time, and I will see you soon. Bye!